Welcome to this video introduction to the Vision for Australia Together. I'm Bronwyn Kelly, the founder of Australian Community Futures Planning. In May 2021, we launched a starting draft of Australia's first National Community Futures Plan. That plan is called Australia Together. This is a long-term plan for a better society, environment, economy and democracy. It's being built by Australians for Australians, with the assistance of Australian Community Futures Planning. The purpose of Australia Together is simple. It is to help us make our vision for a better future a reality. ACFP is helping Australians do this because, at the outset of the 2020s, our governments are not helping. They are offering no practical plans for the long term. Everything is limited by the short-term horizon of the next election. For instance, Australia has no plans for putting together the strongest components of a new and resilient economy. We have no genuine coordinated plans to seize the extraordinary opportunities that would arise from shifting to a decarbonised economy. We have no plans to reduce growing inequality, few, if any, plans that properly protect the environment on which we and our economy depend, no plans to protect or strengthen our democracy and rights as citizens, and no plans to involve Australians in discussing the nation that we want to become. If we wish to reverse that, we need to tell our leaders what sort of Australia we wish to build together, how we prefer to get there, and how we don't. The Vision for Australia Together is designed to describe all that as clearly, succinctly, and meaningfully to our leaders as we can, so that we, the people, the forgotten and voiceless in our democracy, can't be as easily or willfully misunderstood as we often are now, and can't be so easily divided and pitted against each other. Accordingly, the starting draft of Australia Together contains a vision for a better future with 16 statements describing aspirations about the life we wish to be able to lead as Australians by 2050 or sooner. And the vision also includes 57 direction statements of the preferred routes toward the vision. These are signposts about the safest paths towards an Australia that is socially inclusive, equitable and intelligent, environmentally sustainable, economically fair and resilient, and democratically open and ethical. The vision and its directions reflect the ambitions of a clever, brave, fair, compassionate, outward-looking and forward-looking nation. The draft vision and its directions have been assembled by ACFP based on extensive reviews of the results of a range of surveys, societal commitments and other research where Australians have come together during the decade up to 2020 and openly expressed their values and goals. The result is a draft vision which is inclusive of diverse Australians regardless of their wealth, birthplace, racial origin, gender, religious preference, sexual preference, lifestyle preference and political preference. Everyone is meant to find a place in the future that is described here. The Vision for Australia Together is designed to exclude no one from a fair share of the best future we can imagine, and to give Australians the ability to build a future where one person's prosperity doesn't have to arise at the complete expense of someone else, as it very often does now. It is to create a shared future, shared prosperity, shared pride in the commonly understood nation we're building. It's to create a country where every Australian feels they can travel safely to a land in which they feel they belong. We can now step back and look at this draft vision and refine it if we wish, so that we can use it to help us move forward to this future together and at the lowest long-run cost. The Vision for Australia Together is necessarily idealistic in this way. This is long-term planning, so idealism is not out of place. It is essential. But the Vision for Australia Together is also very practical because it comes with tools that can help Australians make this vision a reality. It helps Australians create a map of the safe routes to this idealised, aspirational, hopeful future, and it helps them hold governments to account for delivery of what is most important to us. The Vision for Australia Together sets out our preferred destination as a nation by 2050 or sooner, at least as far as we can imagine the possibilities in the early 2020s. Australians will be consulted on an ongoing basis about the vision of our nation's only long-term plan, Australia Together. You can comment on the vision at www.austcfp.com.au/Australia-Together. But for a quick insight into the vision, we hope you will enjoy the following short video introduction. The Vision for Australia Together starts with the draft aspirations you've just seen, but it also includes 57 draft statements intended to describe the safest routes towards that vision. There are 57 of these because ACFP has worked out that there are at least 57 areas of administration and policy that need to be directed well if we're to run our country well. Each of these needs a signpost of the safest and most inclusive direction we can follow to make the Vision of Australia Together a reality. In the map, there are 16 signposts showing the inclusive, equitable and intelligent directions we can take to build our society, 19 signposts for creating a sustainable environment, 9 signposts to a fair and resilient economy, and 13 taking us toward a strong, open and ethical democracy. It might sound complicated to have 57 signposts to the future, but this is a map. Everyone needs to be able to follow it, so they need signposts of the safe paths like this one where Australia steers towards becoming a land without child disadvantage, or this one where we steer towards net zero carbon emissions, or this one where we become a nation fairly raising and sharing national wealth, or this one where we state what our rights are in our Constitution. Each of the 57 draft direction statements, along with the vision itself, will be revised and refined over time as more and more Australians become involved in planning for their future. It's not likely that all Australians will agree with all 57 statements, but they are in line with things that many Australians have been saying they would like to see when they have responded in various surveys and discussions over the last decade. ACFP has listened to those responses and taken Australians at their word about their dreams for the future. But even if among the 57 signposts we've drafted into this first version of the plan, there are some that some individuals may not agree with, and others that other individuals may not agree with, the overall aggregate is at least likely to have space for far more Australians to be able to realise their preferred future than any other short-term divisive party political platform on offer in 2021. Overall, everyone is going to be better off with a plan that offers something to everyone and a space for everyone. Put all these directions together, and for the first time you have a nation knowing where it's going and the safest routes by which we can reach that preferred place together. It's the togetherness that secures our chance of making the vision a reality. All the directions will need to be followed simultaneously if we're to arrive safely in 2050, and certainly if we're to arrive there at the lowest long-run cost. The togetherness and the simultaneity turbocharge our potential for success because they give us the best chance of actually making the world anew. You can find out more about the vision and directions of Australia Together and see how the plan can really work in action by visiting ACFP's website at www.austcfp.com.au, or just Google Australian Community Futures Planning. The website shows how opportunities will be open to Australians to participate in planning their own future over the next decade. And of course, the site will make all drafts of Australia Together fully accessible to all Australians. Australia Together is a live space for democratic planning of a better future. Everyone is welcome to help build it. Thanks for watching this introduction to the Vision for Australia Together. If you liked this program, please click like on the YouTube page and share the program with your friends and subscribe to this channel.